Hi, so a couple weeks ago, I posted a video and then I filmed a follow-up video going over everything that went wrong in filming the first video. So now I'm filming a follow-up video analyzing my analysis of my first video and everything that went wrong in filming my second video. So going along the same guidelines as my first analysis video, the amount of raw footage that I ended up filming was around 56 minutes. The final runtime of the video itself ended up being around 5 minutes and 17 seconds. So that means that 9% of the total amount of footage that I filmed ended up in the final video, which unfortunately is a slightly worse ratio than my first video. So sadly, no improvement there. I filmed more than the previous times and less of it ended up being useful. So whoopee. The number of pauses though in my previous video ended up being around 12, so there's some improvement there. And the total number of false starts that I did while filming my previous video ended up being around 163, which is a lot better than 217. So now moving into editorial data, the number of cuts that I made in my previous video was 84. And the total number of utility cuts, the cuts that I used to take out pauses or just to pace things up or to take out mistakes and stuff like that, ended up being 59. So out of the 84 cuts that I made in my previous video, 70% of those cuts was used to fix things. And these cuts are non-intentional cuts. I didn't count any like punch-ins and punch-outs or just cutaways to like graphical elements and stuff. It's just jump cuts pretty much that like this right now. This will be a jump cut, probably because I'm like lagging in my, and now my alarm's going off. So yeah, 59 utility cuts, 70% of the total cuts was used to just fix mistakes like that. I did end up having to do a reshoot because I did this dumb thing where I filmed my analysis of my first video before I posted my video, and then it went back to edit my first video, which changed all the analytics that I had already filmed in my second video. So it was just a mess. So basically I just had to go back and refilm with updated information, which I will say ended up being one of like the more entertaining bits of my video. Cause I did this thing where I like used my motion trackboard to like take out the screen as if like this whole thing is happening on this board. I don't know, it was fun. I had a good time with it. So note to self, there is creativity in mistakes. Honestly, some of the best creative decisions that I've ever made usually came out of some kind of mistake that required some kind of creative problem solving to fix. So yeah, if there's any one takeaway from this video, it could be that. And also during the reshoots, I once again forgot to turn my lavalier mic on and hit record. But luckily I had learned from my first reshoot to have more audio sources. So now I don't know if you can see this, but now I have a boom mic along with my lavalier. So if any one of those fails, then the other one can have its back. So yeah, it sucks that the same mistakes keep happening, but I'm learning now. My lamp is still on. My small TV is still on. It's out of batteries. It's plugged in right now, but it's still on, baby. So what is this data telling me? What are my takeaways from looking at all this data from my second shoot? So this data is telling me that overall I made less mistakes, but less of the footage was usable. And it also took way more effort to get the amount of usable footage to work in order to convey an idea. And thinking back to when I was filming my second video, I was very hyper-focused on trying to make less mistakes. So what ended up happening was that I just ended up rambling more. Like instead of restarting my idea, I was like, just keep talking and just move through it, which gave me more footage, but less usable footage. So where do I go from here, right? I'm trying to make more unscripted off-the-cuff videos, but I'm trying to make less mistakes. But now, I also have to cut down on how much footage that I have. And I think the solution here might be just for me to write down my ideas. Not write out like a full-on script, but like maybe just have like an outline of the things that I'm talking about, which actually is what I'm doing right now. I'm already incorporating that. So by doing more thinking off camera before I film, maybe that'll lower the lift it'll take me to think while I am on camera. Because naturally my brain works pretty slow. I think it works a lot slower than my mouth. So if I can just have a better idea about what I'm going to say on camera before I get on camera, maybe that'll help. But anyway, yeah, my data pool is still pretty small because at this point I've made like, what, 5 videos? So far, it's not a lot. But the goal is still to be more articulate on camera and for me to be able to complete thoughts without having to start and stop over and over and over again. At the end of the day, this is all just part of the process, and hopefully I can look back on this video in like a year or two or something and see some definite improvement. But yeah, anyway, I'm still working on how to end videos, so Bye.